Okay, so we are going to make a fortune cookie in graphite value. First thing you want to do is set the stage. Always set the stage, just kind of sketch it in, an idea of what you want, what space it's going to take up. A lot of times your first impressions are right, and then all you got to do is go back in and kind of clean up your proportions. And that's what I'm doing here in this photo. Okay, and I'm just kind of giving you the idea of the different thing about the different shapes that these fortune cookies go through, from a flat circle to a crescent moon, and then when they're on top of a coffee cup. And it does make an impression on this fortune cookie every time. So now I kind of have it in dark outline, similar to what we did in the first unit. So now what I want to do is come in, after I've cleaned it up a little bit, draw the shadow. Remember when we did our value scales, our value spheres, that was the first thing that you did. I'm kind of sketching in where all the darker areas are on this fortune cookie, just to kind of remind me. I am using a 2B in this picture, just so you know the pencil. So here I am thinking about the value sphere and the terminator and reflected light. Those are things that you're going to want to squint your eyes and look for in your actual fortune cookie. That's the only way to actually see values, because you kind of have to turn it into a kind of like a black and white photograph in your mind. And if you squint your eyes, it blurs that for you and helps you isolate values. So now I'm going in and I am point shading, so it has a different texture. I'm using the point of my HB, and I'm kind of curving where the cookie curves. And I'm doing them in little short segments. And by doing this, it's going to give the sense that the cookie has form on a flat surface. Because remember, we are just trying to approach realism and make it look like it's a cookie in 3D. So keep going. I'm going to keep building up all of these cross contour hatched lines. I'm doing it point shading. Even down along the bottom part, you'll notice where the two edges of the cookie meet. I haven't really done much with it yet. I will come back to that. So I'm going to soften that just a little bit. It will still leave the lines, so it has texture from the point shading, but it does soften it and make it seem more cookie-like. All right, so now I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to clean up the edges. And because there's value there, it will create an edge on my cookie. If you don't have enough value there, it's hard to create an edge that looks like an outline contour. So I was really drawing with my eraser there. So now I'm going to take a darker pencil and create the value of the back part of the cookie. And once again, I'm using my point, and I've gone for my darker pencil so that I can really get in there and create a shadow. And it is the shadow on that lower edge that helps create the side of the cookie that's coming toward you. All right, and now I'm starting to think about the edges of the cookie, and I want to try and make the edges of the cookie look irregular so that they will look more organic. Okay, I used my 2H to soften my lightest values on the top and at the reflected light. And that's what that horrible picture is the reflected light. And I'm just using my 2H to kind of clean up the soft values. Now it's time to work on the shadow. I notice in my shadow, there's a little bit of light area. Every shadow has a bounce back from the white paper especially, and it does help give life to a shadow. Remember, the darkest part is up underneath the cookie. That's your occlusion shadow. And now I'm putting the occlusion shadow underneath the top half of the cookie. And there you go. Don't forget to pull out your highlights with your eraser.